How's it going, folks? And welcome back. I've made a new signing in a position that I probably don't need a player in, but as has been tradition with this park to Prem, why would I ever sign players in positions I might actually need? Welcome, Joe Rodwell Grant. Released from Preston North End, was without a club. He has signed a 1.5 year long deal on £400 a week. I think he is an absolute bargain. He is the speedy striker that I think we've maybe been lacking, and so far he's not scored in 2 league games. Today, we have a huge match. We are taking on Lancaster City away from home. They are top. We have dropped down to second, but with a game in hand, we could go top of the table with that game still to spare today. That is going to be the aim. Let's see if we can make it happen. Yes, folks, how is it going? And welcome back to FC United. Today is a big day. It's the first game of 2025. I feel like we're slowly getting into the future or something. I mean, this is now season number 4. Of course, it's still our first season at FC United, and I feel like at this point, we firmly got our feet under the table. And of course, well, with January, you associate transfer windows. And whilst we don't have a transfer window here, as I've already mentioned, we have done a little bit of business. And, well, Joe Rodwell Grant has joined us as a striker. That did, however, mean moving on a striker. And in the end, Keaton Mulvey has left us to go to Telford. He was not really happy with his playing time. I wasn't really happy with him, to be honest. He was failing to score for us. He's moved. He's failing to score for Telford. And at the point of his departure, I mean, Joe was already here. I mean, when you compare the two, you can see why Joe is perhaps the man I've decided to keep around. Keaton Mulvey was on £375 a week, so not a massive amount of a kind of increase, I suppose, in our overheads in bringing in Joe Rodwell Grant. I think when you look at him, he is just a straight upgrade, and I do feel like that £400 a week deal is a really, really good one for us. If we just take a peek at the wage budget, we are actually over our wage budget at the moment, not because of other new signings, but simply because I've been trying to tie down our best players to longer term deals. In the last month, Harry Wallace has signed a new deal to the end of next season. Unfortunately, I did have to give him a wage rise to £800 a week, which is the limit that we can actually pay a player in this division. Yeah, in the lower leagues of England, there is a cap on how much you can pay players per week. And similarly, Yannick Zayakunu, I've also opted to give £800 a week in order to keep him around for next year. In the case of both these players, they are players who look good for the level above us. So if we get promoted, I feel like they'll be, still very, very useful pieces of the puzzle. Similarly, Nathan Harker has signed a new deal with the club, but that is not going to come into effect until the end of the year. It is on £750 a week, and I know he has had a few calamities in him, but largely, he has still been a pretty good goalkeeper for us. A 7.04 rating isn't that bad. He just has the odd blunder in him. I'm hoping that he's going to stop having those blunders, and I'm hoping, of course, we're going to get promoted, because if we don't get promoted, some of these wages that I have offered out are just a little bit too high. Elsewhere in the team, Nestor McIntyre has signed a new deal for next year, which is always good news. And one further player to speak of, the top goal scorer at the club, 19 goals to his name, now on £400 a week. Stephen Gold has committed his immediate future to the club. Again, another deal to the end of next year. Really, really important, I feel like, to keep hold of these crucial players for us. And as you're going to come to see, Stephen Gold is definitely the most crucial piece of our team's puzzle. So last episode, we left things with a win against Basford in the FA Cup first round, and straight after that, we lost. Yeah, that's probably not what you were expecting. We lost 1-0 against Dunstan, and to be honest, I don't know how we lost it. I mean, I do. They took the one chance that went their way, but you can see here, it wasn't a bad performance by us, but with Mikulski playing, Gold still on international duty, Mulvey was the man we looked for goals. He couldn't deliver them, and goals really just have been a little tough to come by. Obviously, Mikulski and Gold have got goals, but beyond them and possibly Wallace, we just lacked real goal scorers, which is why I ended up making the move I made, I suppose, to bring in Joe Rodwell Grant. In the next game, we beat Hyde United 4-2, a convincing performance. We were 4-0 up. They had a mini late comeback, but they never looked like it was going to happen. We then won in the FA Trophy second round after penalties, which was great. And then a really tricky start to the month, actually. Marine at home, Blythe Spartans at home. Two of the better teams at this level. A 2-1 win with Stephen Gold scoring, followed by a 0-0 draw. The next game against Hanley Town, another 1-0 win. Stephen Gold, as you can see here, just getting a sea of goals. And as you might notice, in this Hanley Town game, a shift in system. This was the debut of Rodwell Grant. Didn't really have a debut to remember, but we edged out this game. We looked really good defensively with the new shape. Of course, it's not a radical change really, just dropping the centre attacking mid into a third striker. And I feel like between Gold, Mikulski and Rodwell Grant, goals should come. And indeed, in the last 2 games, they have come. Against Worksop Town, a 5-1 win was superb, and then an even better result. We beat Kings Lynn 5-1 away from home, and in this game, we were dominant. So this was a really, really emphatic win in the FA Trophy. Kings Lynn play 2 levels above us. They play in the National League. I was expecting a battle, and to be honest, we didn't really get one. Gold got us off to a great little start with that header. Not long later, we worked the ball into the middle again. Of course, you will see that we are playing that 4-3-3, and well, with it, there's plenty of options in the middle. Stephen Gold just bullying Kings Lynn. Unfortunately for us, we conceded a long throw. We've conceded a few of those this year. I don't really know what to do about them. I think maybe I could train defending set pieces more, but I feel like when it comes to throw-ins especially, you're kind of at the whims of the FM gods. Anyway, Rodwell Grant scored his first goal of this game. He grabbed 2, which was really good to see because prior to this, he'd played 2 games, hadn't scored yet for the club. As I mentioned, he did get another one in this game. It was the 5th goal of the game, McIntyre sneaking in to get his first of the game and our 4th. And the route, well, it ended with some style. McIntyre playing it through, dinked it, hit the woodwork. Rodwell Grant, using that pace of his and all 13 finishing, tucked it into the bottom corner. And against a team who, as I said, are a number of levels above us, well, we look really good. We looked at home against them. So, yeah, boding well for the new system. But of course, as is with any tactical tweak, we need a larger sample size than 3 games before I claim that this is the future of how we're going to play here at FC United. So just looking at the system, it's not too dissimilar to the system that I played in the Streamer Showdown, if you watched that the last weekend. Looking at the team here, it is a 4-3-3. It plays to our strengths. What I've ended up doing is dropping Wallace in at centre mid as an advanced playmaker, which obviously is a position and role he can play very, very well. Of course, McIntyre still plays as a centre mid on attack on the left side, and Becker in the heart, kind of just doing the role that he loves to do, just winning the ball and spreading it out to more creative players. And I do feel like actually between Gold, who's really good in the air, between Mikulski, who is a little bit of a beaver as a pressing forward, a man who's going to work hard to get the ball back, but maybe doesn't have the craziest technical ability. And then, of course, Rodwell Grant, who does have that technical ability, but also is pretty good in the air. You know, 10 jumping reach, 13 heading is good for this level. The 13 acceleration is great. You kind of look at the trio of dribbling, finishing, and first touch. At 13, at this level, this man should get goals for us. I'm hoping that maybe today he gets his first league goals. So we have just got the 1 league match today, but it is a big one. Lancaster City have been a team who have been a constant thorn in our side. They are top of the table, 3 points clear. They've been in some pretty good form, although they did lose their most recent game against Scarborough. So I'm hoping that maybe we can beat them. If we do beat them, we put ourselves in a really great position towards the top of the table. As you can see, 24 games played, of course, 42 games in the season. We are kind of rapidly approaching the tail end of the year. Do not be deceived by the fact it's only the 4th of January. So I mentioned the win against Kings Lynn. As a consequence of that, we're still in the FA Trophy. We've made it to the 4th round, and we're nestled around lots of very good teams. And the team we've been drawn against is Chorley. Now, I don't think I'm going to do the match against Chorley next episode, because we've already played them in the FA Cup. They're a team we are familiar with. They are currently top of the Vanarama National League North, although as you can see here, it's very competitive towards the top of the table. This is the division I'm hoping that we're going to be playing in. I mean, given the fact we've beaten Kings Lynn 5-1, we've beaten Chorley already this year, I do feel ready for the promotion. But of course, feeling ready for the promotion doesn't mean we are ready for the promotion. We have to do our talking on the pitch, and this is a really, really big game for us. In terms of the team, the great news is we're pretty much at full strength here. Gayler was on the bench because Sarson was out with a little knock, but as you can see, he is back fit and improving. Of course, with our team having such a young core, players like Hancock, who's the young Aussie centre mid, players like Sanson, who we've already talked about, Bob Walton as well, there is a little bit of room for growth in this team. I'm hoping that the squad is kind of going to grow as we climb up through the next few divisions, of course. That's not to say we won't sign players, but there's certainly players in this squad that I look at and think, yeah, you know what, you could be with us in League 2 in maybe 5 years' time. But anyway, let's submit our team. I guess all eyes are going to be on Rodwell Grant, really, to see what he can do as the new kid on the block. On £400 a week, there's not a massive amount of pressure, I feel like, in terms of the wages he's commanding. But given the fact we've changed our entire kind of system to facilitate him as part of a attacking trio, we do need him to perform well. He looked good against Kings Lynn, taking on another very good team here in Lancaster City. Make no mistake, This is a must-win. If we lose this, they are going to pull clear at the top of the table, and that will be an unfamiliar territory, because so far this year, we have been the team setting the pace. And the fact they've got a corner, or not a corner, a free kick rather, I should say, with 7 minutes gone here is a concern. And, well, the fact it's hit the woodwork, equally concerning. But we've lived to fight another day. We're fine. Not the start I wanted to see, though. Okay, 26 minutes gone. We've got a corner, though. Whipped in. Gold is there. Cleared away, but only as far as Nestor McIntyre, who is going to be forced to go all the way back to Warburton. But can we recycle possession and create something going forward? Crow has been a top performer for us this year at right back. The kind of player who you'd back to whip a ball in towards the back post if needed. But, or maybe we're just going to play it through the middle. This is superb football. Gold. Options in the middle. Dinks it in. Mikulski's there. And his header's just wide of the post. What an opportunity that was. In a game where I do feel like we've been the better team in the early stages. I'd like to get a goal whilst we're on top. Unfortunately, it's gone just wide. So at the break, it is 0-0. As you can see by the XG story, we've perhaps been the better team in this game. I am conscious of the fact that Lancaster are playing with a 5 at the back. I feel like with the 3 centre-backs, that works quite nicely against our front 3. In terms of against a back 2, against 2 centre-backs, I feel like we can overload the middle a little bit. Not having as much success there in these early stages. And well, 10 minutes into this half, we might have a corner to deal with as it's going to be whipped in towards the near post. It's cleared off the line by Crow. Harker, I think, tipped it onto the crossbar as well. And I feel like I've seen enough and I'm ready to make some changes. Harry Wallace has not had a good game today. I'm going to take him off and bring in Daniel Hancock. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to bring in Hancock. I'm going to bring in John Sarson. I feel like John is a little bit better going forward. And particularly as we've been on top in this game, kind of bringing in a player who is maybe slightly more attacking minded could be the way to go. I'm going to switch him to attack as well. And I'm also going to tell the fullbacks just to try and hit early crosses a little bit more. I'm not going to go and make a second or third sub just yet. But I do feel like we've got the ability to have aerial superiority, I suppose, by getting balls into the box. We'll see if that can, end in anything, but not before. We have a corner, and now we've hit the woodwork, but Sarson has an effort. It's cleared wide. Mikulski's on the floor complaining about a foul. It's not given. And both teams have had opportunities from set pieces denied by the woodwork now. This is a cagey game. A draw doesn't really do anyone any favours. Both teams are going to feel like this is the game to win. Rodwell Grant trying to get it to Gold, but Gold unable to compete there in the air. We do still have the ball, however, and it's Mikulski trying to play in Rodwell Grant to, well, with his 13 acceleration, your back might be able to get there ahead of the defender. He couldn't, but was still on the attack, and it's Sarson, the sub, with a disappointing effort to get it into the box. That was not the cross we wanted to see. But of course, we are going to try and press high up the pitch here, try and force a turnover in possession, and perhaps in doing that, we're going to leave ourselves open because ball is through one-on-one. Can Harker turn hero? He can't. And, well, we've just been caught out in the middle there. Maybe switching Sarson to advanced playmaker on the attack role and duty was an error. Whitfield finds a little bit of space. To be fair, I think between Nestor McIntyre and also Mbeka, they probably should do a little bit better there. But the defensive line was all over the place. Ball given the one-on-one. They've scored it. 20 minutes left here. I need to change some stuff. So I think we're going to just press as much as possible and mark tighter. What I would say is our initial system is so attacking anyway that in terms of going more attacking now, it kind of becomes a little bit tricky, if that makes sense, to make stuff happen. I am going to tell the players to look for the underlap. And when I'm talking about looking for the underlap, I'm mostly talking about the wider centre mids. Look for underlap, I feel like is really underused in Football Manager. But in a shape like this, we should see Gold and Rodwell Grant drift wide a little bit. And hopefully Sarson and McIntyre kind of attack into the channels between the strikers on both sides. And yeah, I'm gonna use it here and see how it works. As I said, I don't feel like I've ever used look for the underlaps that often in Football Manager. I feel like it's underappreciated, but it's something that I have been using a little more this year to varying degrees of success. We're going to have to hope it can turn successful because there's 10 minutes here and we've not had nearly enough highlights. Okay, it's the 87th minute and nothing's happening. This is one of those cagey top of the table games where, I don't know, I feel like we could have won it. We maybe should have won it. We've got to go more direct in terms of distribution now. Just lump it over the defence. We've got 3 strikers trying to run onto it. There is a matter of seconds remaining. Time is just trickling away. Football Manager, there's a highlight. Crow, 20 seconds left. I want to believe. Gold. heads it just over with possibly the last touch of the game. And it was the last touch of the game. It was an opportunity from the set piece. Stephen Gold using all of his height. And unfortunately, in a hard-fought game, a cagey game, we come out second best. And with that, well, we are going to be 3 points behind Lancaster City if we win our game in hand. If we don't win it, we will remain the 6 points we are currently behind them. That league table does not make for pretty reading, does it? I mean, the only silver lining I can really think about is we are still comfortably in the playoffs. I don't want to be in the playoffs this year, though. Mikulski, by the way, not scored in 10 hours. Yeah, we are having this weird issue where just we can't get all our strikers on song at the same time, it feels like. Now, unfortunately for us, we've already played Lancaster City twice, so we don't have a chance to close the gap on them directly. We are now just going to have to look at them and hope that they slip up a little bit. As things stand, there are, 17 games left of the season. In terms of when we're back next time, I think it's probably going to be March. There are a fair few games in January, of course. If we go on a mini FA Trophy run, if we get to the 5th round and get a big team, of course we'll come back for that. Cup runs are exciting. Surely, with respect, not the most glamorous of teams. We've already seen ourselves play them today. Not today, this season in an episode. So I think we'll pass on that one for now. But in terms of when we're going to be back next time, I'm just desperately hoping we're still going to be in touching distance towards the top of the table. And hopefully, Mikulski, who, just as a reminder, is one of the top earners at the club, is going to have scored a goal by the time we return. But anyway, gang, that wraps up everything from me today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, if you did, do drop a like on it. Helps out the videos massively, pushes them with the YouTube algorithm. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final episode of the week. And well, until then, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.